Hello, 26 days to go until the Cheltenham Festival kicks off. I make that 27 days until it's time for the RSA chase. I'm joined with a panel of experts here to discuss this one, the one race we will be previewing amongst many that we preview here at BetRacingNation. I'm joined firstly by Jonathan Henwood-Ross, bookmaker and punter and owner, I believe.
Yeah, actually not an owner anymore. I've just sold my horse, but maybe I'll try and find another one to buy.
Are you the man to have an anti-post bet with at Cheltenham?
Absolutely. You can get me on Twitter, and yes, I'll be happy to do some Cheltenham business.
Excellent. Sandy Castle runs White Diamond Racing Club. Any prospects in the yard at the moment?
Yeah, we've just acquired a new mare called Molly Wanna-Cracker. Be due to run in a bumper probably next month. Should be ready.
Excellent. And BetRacingNation part-timer, but I hear Cheltenham full-timer, Adam Ward. How are you?
Good evening to you, Tom. Very well, thank you.
Good evening. Right, let's crack on. Let's talk about the RSA chase. 3 mile novices. Obviously, the one straight to pull out is Ballycasey, really, top of the market. What I've noticed in this race, if you reel off the last, 7 winners of this one, I mean, it goes from the likes of Denman, Alberta's Run, down to Bobsworth, class horses, Gold Cup horses in there, but then in the middle, Weapons Amnesty, Caldine Bosson's Angel, most recently Lord Windermere. Pick and choose, really, whether you get a classic winner of this one or not. Is Ballycasey one of them?
Start off with, the RSA is notoriously quite a gruelling race, and you have to stay very well to win this race. Ballycasey was, Mullins actually said that he could possibly go for the 4 miler. But after winning on Sunday at Leopardstown, I think the RSA does look the most likely target.
Quite a lightly race though.
Yeah.
You think 4 miles, you always think of quite a tough horse, tough old horse to be able to stay that trip out. And Ballycasey, straight in there, he's only had 4 or 5 races, I think, something of that like, and they're chucking him over the chase 3 miles. It's a big occasion for a sort of novice horse like that.
Yeah, well, the race on Sunday was only over 2 miles 5, and he beat a horse called Don Cossack. I personally, I could never imagine Don Cossack winning a race like this.
No, I couldn't either.
So why not? Why not?
There are better horses, and I just don't think he's one of them.
Anything in particular, better horses? I know possibly Anacotti had a slightly heavy season maybe in terms of a build-up to Cheltenham, but Keithley's always fancied him in the yard. Anacotti, are any of you guys?
Yeah, well, the blinkers have made a big difference in those last 2 runs, I think. So top weight last time in what was a relatively modest handicap, but there's a key form line in here with quite a few of them. So, like you say, has he had too many races this season? I don't know. It does swing that way, doesn't it? You want to come to Cheltenham, you want to be hitting those horses bang in form, if anything, slightly fresh than others.
Won the Feltham, and all 19 winners of the Feltham that have tried to win this race have failed.
Oh, that's a damning fact then, John. Cheers.
Put a line for Anacotti.
Put a massive line through that. Let's talk about.
No, I mean, you can't just put a line through a horse just because of a stat like that. I mean, obviously, the stat's important, but at the end of the day,
they're to be broken at the end of the day.
Yeah, they're there to be broken. They can't hold forever these things.
Tom Ryan Fair would touch on it. He's run actually 7 times this season, which is obviously
too much for you. Then is it 7 times too much?
Yeah, I just think he's obviously going to have a little break now before this race, and I think it's just going to be 1 race too many for him.
OK, that's Anacotti out the way. Ballycasey we've discussed as well. How about Smad Place? He's the 2nd in the market at the moment. Adam?
Well, I was impressed with him on Saturday's win. Obviously, I honestly thought Mendip Express would win that quite well, but
was well
Smad Place
as well,
went well away. He was, yeah. And I heard today that Smad Place's race was 18 seconds faster than Harry Topper's, the same distance, same course. So obviously in a slog of mud, you just take that with a pinch of salt. But I was impressed with the way he won. He had a bit of a mishap when he unseated at Huntingdon earlier in the season, but he's unexposed, and he'd have as good a chance as any, I think, in this race.
I would say with Smad Place, look, he is the class horse over hurdles in this race. Yeah. He's finished 3rd twice in the World Hurdle. He obviously did have that mishap at Huntingdon, and obviously at Newbury in the latest run it was quite an impressive performance. For some reason I just don't like horses that are top class over hurdles.
For some reason, you're always for some reason, aren't you, Sandy? What is this niggling reason sometimes you get?
It's just there's a few horses that do go over fences a little bit too late in their career, and it's almost like an afterthought sometimes.
Yeah, well, it really would be the complete opposite to a horse like Ballycasey, wouldn't it? Who's clearly been pinpointed to be a 3 mile novice chaser. Looking down the card, your eye seems to stick to one always, isn't it? When you're looking down a race card, it always seems to stick to one. Many Clouds in the Trevor Hemmings colours. Many Clouds, Sandy?
That's the horse I'm the prices at the moment. That's the horse I'm very sweet on.
What are we talking price at the moment? What have you seen?
I think he's about 20 to 1 currently.
20 to 1 in places with Bet365. So.
And I think there's obviously a lot of horses that are going to be coming out of this race as well. So on the day, I can't imagine many clouds going off at 20 to 1.
No.
He's actually really impressed me since he switched to fences this season. He's currently rated 145, and originally, before he actually won round Carlisle, he went with someone very famous called Yogi Bresner, who actually teaches horses how to jump, and a lot of the top national hunt trainers do use him to get horses to jump.
Right.
He is the master.
Yeah, he's the absolute master at it. And apparently many clouds actually did have problems with his jumping. He had like a little incident at home. I think he was a bit unnerved.
And now they turn the screw, have they?
Yeah, well they have. He won at Carlisle. He beat a horse called Knockerhand, who won today.
Knockhand, yeah.
He won today, and then he also came out quickly, ran at Haydock, and he finished a horse behind Black Thunder. And the third of that race, Shotgun Paddy, has since come out and won the Betfred Classic Chase.
So it's strong form.
Yeah,
it's strong form. And if anything, surprising to see that he's that big in the market. With horses like that, maybe it is quite big in the market. Is that something to do with the fact that we just don't know whether these horses are run? I mean, of course it is, it's anti-post betting, but can we be more sure that some of these horses are going to the RSA than others? And if so, which horses would you be more keen to back on the fact that they are going to be ending up in the RSA chase? John?
Well, I think Corin Wood will probably run, and actually that ties in with that line of form you just mentioned where Black Thunder beat Shotgun Paddy, because Corin Wood beat Black Thunder at Warwick last time out, and I quite like Corin Wood. I think it's an interesting prospect. Yeah.
Corin Wood for you then. One other one I'd like to touch on. In fact, there is two I'd like to touch on, and I'll go to Adam for this one actually. You've got to pick him on the right day, not Adam, the horse I'm talking about here. Sam Winner.
Yeah, like I said, on his run behind Smad Place on Saturday, you didn't think the ground was going to suit him, but, instead of being beaten 10, 20 lengths, he stuck and only got beaten 2 lengths. Yeah. His form ties in this race with Lebec, won at Cheltenham after finishing behind him on his reappearance, which is fair enough he needed. The only thing which worries me with this horse is he? I think he's good, but I just think he's a little bit below top class.
Yeah, and so you wonder maybe in a race like this where you're up against your Ballycaseys, whether something else has got something in the tank that you haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I think he'll be there. Like I said, his jumping has improved massively. Obviously, when it went to pot and he got injured when he went first as a novice, but he's come back now. He's jumping more soundly. He seems to have filled out. He's a stronger horse. And he's a much more likeable horse now. And I think he's a nice horse, but whether he's good enough to win an RSA, I'm just not sure.
That's exactly my sentiment as well. He's a nice horse, but I just don't think he's going to be quite good enough for this.
I personally couldn't have him at all. He was subject...
Not
at all. He was subject to a gamble at last year's festival, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. I think
he was the supposedly well handicapped.
Well handicapped.
They
want to jump as...
I remember in all the previews that I went to a Betfair preview, and they were just raving about this horse. They were saying, this is going to be the big one. It's been backed in. And I think the horse has got his own idea about the game slightly. I think he can think about things. I don't know what Paul Nicholls would say to that, but I'm not 100% sure he's straightforward.
Well, I'd say in fairness to that though, like last year I think was a little bit of a crazy punt because he won a 2-mile jumpers bumpers going into it, although fair enough, but then to go and win a 3-mile handicap hurdle like the per temps is
and then to go and win a 3-mile grade 1 would be something completely different, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look at something that is quite interesting in there. Champagne Fever, is he a 3-mile chaser?
No. I think he
won't go.
I think the money's down for the Arkle.
Yeah,
they can completely rule that out. I think we could touch actually on Carlingford Lock because he fell in the race on Sunday at Leopardstown at the last behind Don Cossack and Ballycasey. And McCoy hadn't fully asked him the question when he did fall.
Yeah, he was definitely still in contention in my view.
So Carlingford Lock in with a shout as well, flying the flag for McManus. Can I have one selection, or maybe one in each way, a couple of each ways maybe, from you first, please, Adam?
A couple of each ways.
Quickly.
Well, like I said, I was going to say I quite like Carlingford Lock because of McCoy's positive comments on Cheltenham.
I need some selections.
If he ran, I think Jevery Chambertin each way.
Chambertin.
I haven't seen him over fences yet. So
Sandy?
I'm a fan of Many Clouds of Oliver Sherwood, and I do believe the form of Corin Wood, the collateral form.
I'm with you, Many Clouds. And Jonathan, your selection for the RSA?
Well,
then?
it's not a selection, but I think that we should be laying Ballycasey on account of the fact that the last winner to have had less than 3 chase starts was Florida Pearl in 1992.
Excellent. Well, John Henwood Ross has failed to actually give us a selection there for the RSA. He's given us one to lay Ballycasey. I'm going to be with Sandy Castle on Many Clouds. It's been a pleasure for you to join us for this RSA preview. We've whittled it down from 54 entrants to just 3 and 1 lay of Ballycasey for John Henwood Ross. Hope you can join us for all of the other races. We preview every single race here at Cheltenham across 4 days of the festival. Thanks for seeing us on BetRacingNation. Be with you next time.